What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Typot News here, and welcome back to Narcosis. We left off at the lava fields, which were giving me a bit of trouble. In case I didn't mention it, that was about an hour that I spent just trying to find my way around here. But we're gonna give it another go and see what happens. Get off of me, you bugger! No. Smack you. Smack you upside the head like little pansy you are. Right, off we go. Let's do this. Alright, let's get to it. Go, 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 go. Fast as possible. I'm running out of oxygen already. No, I'm not running out that badly. But I'm running out of oxygen already because I'm miles underwater. Leagues under the sea. I need to get home. I can make it. Now let's go, go, go. Oh, alright, hardcore parkour time. It's over. Oh, this is hardcore hide from crab spider thing. Okay. Come on. Get out there. Thing. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. I was just taunting you. I'm a brave little toaster. I'm going to my Mars. Okay, did anyone else notice that this looks less and less realistic? I know it was so realistic before with the ghost astronauts and all, but you know what I mean. And this is much more reminiscent of something like Doom, the hellscape beneath. Rocking. I'm rolling. Then through the street, down the street. Gotta forget about the spiky butt behind me. Just hope this guy moves. Move, my child. Don't you settle back in for a long winter snap. You gotta move. Go, 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 please. Is there another crab coming up here yet? Yes, there is. I'm gonna dodge you, son. Oh, you're moving faster than I thought. Ignore that! Ignore that, it means nothing. Hey, diddly ho. Let's go, go, go. glitch and fall back down onto me. Don't have to worry about the little buggers, just the big boys. Oh, you guys got a party going on. There's a party going on. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. This is where I'm supposed to go? I need oxygen.
We were talking about protocol. By your own admission, there are instances where you didn't follow procedure. There's your radio and Cora. Granted, this was unprecedented. But as you said, second-guessing puts lives at risk.
Yes, and I'm suffocating.
Do you think the outcome might have been better if you'd just followed the rules?
Well, it might. But there's no way to know that.
Boy, stick to your guns. O2, 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 baby. Give me that sweet O2. Feels good, man. Feels good.
So you're lost and looking for some way out of all of this. And really your only option now is the other habitat, Compass 2. And what's most unsettling to me is you're in this dive suit. You call it a walking coffin. I can't even imagine what that takes.
It takes everything. But when you're losing your strength and your senses, well, like I said, it helps you focus on what little's left.
Wait. Isn't Narcosis... I could be wrong, but doesn't it have to do with kind of a sickness from too many drugs? So is this his narcosis? He's hallucinating not just the people here, but he's hallucinating everything. All of this is a hallucination. Is that me? I'm just dead guy back. What's with the bicycle? Oh shit. Okay. This has to be some sort of narcosis. What's this? There's gotta be some significance to it. Just like that, we're back in the real world. Or about as real as we got here.
Even setting that aside, so much about your ordeal is almost beyond most people's comprehension. Were you ready for this? Or were you lucky?
No luck.
You mentioned possibilities. Does a part of you wonder where you'd be if you'd never gone down there in the first place?
Not really. I mean, that kind of thinking won't get you anywhere. I'm not proud of some of the things I did, but I'm not leaving anything out. I can't.
Creepers.
The last day of 3rd grade, we drive down to the dock. She points at her watch, tells me, close your eyes. She puts her hand on my chest, says, 10 seconds. And then I'm falling. I'm gonna drown. I mean, I'm sure of it. She's shouting, not to interfere. 10 seconds later, her hand's on mine, pulling me up. The next day we go again, only now it's 15. I'm up all night watching the clock, trying to count 20 on the dot. I knew so long as I, hold out. 40 seconds, 45, she'd come. And one day she didn't. My first thoughts, maybe I messed up the count. My second thoughts, I'm on my own. I open my eyes and the sun's behind her. But I know that shape, it's familiar. Arms crossed, staring down at me. Anyway, by the time I climb onto the dock, she's already home.
This is getting different than I thought it was. So maybe this guy did survive. Maybe he was the one who is talking to this shrimp.
Methane is a greenhouse gas, one of the most potent. Other industrial disasters may have been more severe, but Oceanova was groundbreaking, like you said. It could be years before we know all the consequences. We might never understand the ecological impact. It was very expensive, and 19 people died.
So
Like it or
I
not,
was the
you're the human face of all this.
Right.
So what do you say to your critics?
Oh.
I believe in what we were doing.
But was it worth the cost?
Nope, not going back in there. Thank you, sir. Yeah, I hear that. Hamza Salah Al-Yassin. Born February 7th, 1981. Position Derrick from Syria. Like driving a forklift or swinging a 9-iron, eventually the ADS becomes an extension of you, second nature, matter of habit. He wasn't on the dive crew, but still, Salah somehow managed to log hundreds of hours in a suit. Not for fun exactly, just so we'd know he had it. How did it feel? Systems shutting down around him one by one? And which was worse, slow death from a wound he couldn't see, or betrayal by the tool with which he thought he bonded? Did I miss something else? Ooh, I did. Cora Vanderoe. 4-9. So that would be April 9th, 73. Head researcher from Australia. God knows how Cora managed to get herself into an ADS, let alone make it that far on foot. Even for those of us who get poured in daily, it's not exactly a one-man job. Found her about a mile from the crash site. A tiny lighthouse, unattended in the storm, beacon to nowhere. But to come this far and not see it through, something inside must have broken down. Can't see why else she'd be sitting out here all alone. Another ghost in the machine. Ghost in the machine. Bolts. I'm gonna grab that oxygen. How much oxygen? 50. Oh boy.
Engineer, you're a problem solver. You value logic and precision. You talk a lot about times, distances, values, and yet there were some challenges you couldn't solve.
Numbers are easy. It's people that are complex. Numbers bring things into focus. No gray areas to distract you from getting things into perspective.
It's the same thing I said. Oh, hello, friend. You seem like a chill guy. Parkour, parkour! Za! Za! More za! Hey! Puppy! Can't believe I made it! Oh, mama mia. John Castillo, born March 11th, 1991, junior diver from USA. For the first time or the 50th, trudging through the extractor farm always puts a little ice in your blood. Someone, can't remember who, someone said it's like a forest of metal trees, roots soaking up all the salt of the earth. JJ walked these fields pretty much daily. Now he's watching them over like a second-rate scarecrow, attracting more scavengers than he repels. I can still hear him now, cracking jokes and talking garbage, like father, like son. Was his father on the boat? Wait. I'm gonna go over
Does
here.
it get easier answering all the same questions?
People ask all kinds of questions. What they ask says a lot about their character, especially when it comes to casualties.
Could you not, sir? I'm trying to do something. Go away. Alright, now I gotta check if the Castillos are both here. Castillo. Oh, there are two Castillos. I just haven't found them. I probably missed something.
So what's the response when they do ask about the gory details?
I oblige. See which way they want to take it. I mean, what people don't get is that they don't want me to keep going. Not really. There's only so much blood and guts people can take before they lose their appetite. Everyone has their limits.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, not here again. anxiety.
You're very candid when describing some circumstances. Times when you felt crippled with fear, coming across the bodies of friends and colleagues.
Yeah.
It's clear you care, but there's an undercurrent of detachment in the way you present some of the more difficult moments. Was that your intention?
No, I've heard that before. I just did my best to paint a clear picture. When it comes to empathy, there's no manual for that.
Oh, hello. Anders Dahl Rider. Anders Dahl Rider. Born January 31st, 1978, supervisor from Denmark. Oh, we already talked about that. We're all in it together down here. But as much as someone could be, Anders was in charge, always on the move, checking up on people and on progress and writing it all down. Found him in the hallway overlooking the meadow. Did he drown? Maybe methane exposure? I don't. Why does it matter? Who can say? Either way, everything around here just feels off. Silent because I understand. Oh, I'm not silent because of that, that's for sure. Oh my gosh, let's not stay here. Look, oh my signals are crashed. Please.
I have to ask again. Was it luck?
Conditioning. Conditioning and discipline. That's how I got down there in the first place. That's how I got out. It's about keeping tethered to the task. You don't let yourself forget about the reality around you. You can't.
Yeah, speaking of reality, but having a hard time with that. Gosh. Dang it. Did I? Oh, that was supposed to happen. That's safe. not sure what I did, but I'm gonna roll with it. Was the 3? Oh, there it is. Six. Yeah, accident. Oh, it's so nice to have that back. Hello, graphics bug. I've broken to you again. Hello, graphics, my old friend. I've gone and broken you again. Alright, what big bad baddie's gonna be after me now?
You saw terrible things. And even if you made it to the surface, you couldn't count on being rescued. I mean, I'd have lost my mind. Did you ever feel like you were losing it just a little?
No. When they found me, I'd been floating on the surface for at least 5 hours. I talked with therapists and trauma experts for months. Said I was hiding the hurt. But it's not true. I made mistakes down there, yes, but did I lose my mind? No. No way.
Halima O'Keen, born November 3rd, 1992, rig manager from Germany. The first female rig manager I've met, maybe the best. Halima was driven by the desire to make her family proud. Now here she is, knife in one hand, pills in the other. Heartbreaking, but there's an undeniable dignity in accepting the inevitable, refusing to bargain. The youngest among us, and she didn't try to run. The captain's going down with the ship. Still, it's hard to imagine any parent taking pride in this kind of resolve, not when it ends like this. How many are we actually missing? It's 5. I bet I missed 1 or 2, unfortunately, but... Progress saved. That's a nice car. Hi! Oh, hello, friend. I'd rather you didn't.
was defined by the fact that you came back
Mama.
alone. Your story started with 20 people, but ends with one. So when it comes to telling those stories, you're the only one who can.
Yeah. There's a responsibility to get things right. For the record.
Alright. Let's see what fight they can help for us. Where am I going, Mama? Show me the way. Don't freak me around like that. Don't appreciate it. They're waiting for me. Thanks, dude.
Welcome back, my friend. Hey. You alright? Come on, let's get back to the house.
So what's that whole thing? Just him hoping.
Welcome back to Open Air. I'm Emily Kaler. If you're just joining us, my guest is Kip Mattis, sole survivor of the Ocean Nova disaster. His first book, Hell or High Water, is a harrowing account of his ordeal. Earlier, we talked about the life aquatic, escaping the flooded habitat, and being lost on the seafloor inside a half-ton titanium diving suit. Kip, I know this might not be easy, but I'd like to talk about the end. Can you read that for us?
Yeah. The list is getting shorter. The hatch opens with its usual reluctance, flooding the room with light. The pod is there. I'm going home. Tomorrow I'll be the sole survivor. But for now, I'm not alone.
Virgil Fail, born September 10th, 1980, senior diver in France. I'm 11 again. In my dreams, grandfather shakes me from my sleep. Silently, I help him don the tools of his trade, so frail, a husk. The copper helmet alone should be too heavy to bear, but somehow between my bedroom and the beach, the ragged suit restores the ragged man. At the water's edge, he puts a finger to his lips, then points to the knife at his waist, an antique that's lost its luster, its edge. The strength and purpose I've never seen but always known cuts the ties that bind us, then strides into the sea.
How did you feel when you figured it out?
At that point, and that close, I was running on fear. So when I saw another suit in the room, it's almost too much to process. I couldn't believe that it was...
Virgil? Is that you?
Virgil made it. Just like me.
How did you get? I thought everyone was...
Only I'm locked inside the pod and he's locked out.
Oh my god.
Can you hear me? I can't stop the launch. There's no override.
He's not coming back.
Oh God, I'm sorry.
And that's on me.
30 seconds to evacuation.
So are you saying that if you did something differently, that Virgil would have lived?
That's right. Until I saw him, fear in his eyes, I thought I was the only one. It was a bad call.
Evacuation in 5,
This can't be happening.
3, 2.
Oh God, I'm sorry.
Evacuation commencing.
No, 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 no.
Gosh.
You didn't kill him.
Really? Who did? Bad luck? I'm responsible. Look, I'm up here talking with you, and he's still out there.
Oh my gosh. Well, that didn't go where I thought it was gonna go. Jeepers. I'm gonna wait through the credits, see if there's something at the end, and then I got some words.
Kip, it's been more than a year since all this happened. You wrote a book and told your story. Are you ready to be done?
Yeah. It's time to move on. Get myself working again.
Kip Mattis, thank you so much for spending time with me today.
Thanks for having me, Emily.
Grandfather's diving career ended before I was born. But even though I knew these stories by heart before learning to read or write, I have just two memories of him in water. In the first, I'm old enough to walk, but just learning to ride. We stopped to picnic in a scarlet field. A small pond catches my eye, and then I'm falling. I'm going to drown. I'm sure of it. 2 seconds later, his hand's on mine, pulling me up. The next day, I start learning to swim. Kipling Mattis, born October 9, 1980, engineer from the USA. Kipling Mattis was born in 1980 in Lompoc, California. He graduated from California Polytechnic State University in 2002 with a Bachelor of Applied Science degrees in Computer and Mechanical Engineering. Before joining the Oceanova Initiative, he worked on numerous energy research and engineering projects. Mr. Mattis currently lives in Berck-sur-Mer on the coast of France. Hell or High Water, Surviving Oceanova is his first book. I wasn't expecting to get feels at the end of what was supposed to be a horror game. So, that was... honestly, that was as much a walking simulator as it was anything else. There were a bunch of parkour spots and everything, but it was definitely a story-driven game with a lot of slow movement, making sure you knew the whole story, making sure you knew everything to do with it. But there's a difference between this and the others. When I say others, of course, I mean walking simulator. But this game took a horror element and made it good. I mean, this was all of the sound and all of the feelings and all of the environment that you'd expect from a AAA horror, that you'd expect to be presented with when somebody says, this is a good horror. This is what you want. It wasn't just jump scares, it was the aura of the whole thing. And then at the end, just the story all came together, and not in a way that I expected. I mean, I expected some of it. I expected about halfway through when they were talking about the subs colliding, I questioned. I said, oh, maybe this guy's the one who got collided with and he's just wandering around the ocean floor forever, but I didn't expect it to be what it was. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been an amazing experience, this game. And as always, I'll see you in the next video. Catch you on the flip side.